Welcome to this presentation of the Western Ohio Railway. The 2026 NMRA National Convention and Train Show was held in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I wasn't able to attend the convention, but I did drive down from Cincinnati on Saturday morning to attend the train show. This video will focus on the operating model layouts at the show. While I enjoyed seeing all the products from the manufacturers and browsing the items for sale, it doesn't make for a very interesting video. As I edited the video, I counted 12 different layouts on display at the show. I realized while walking out at closing time, I missed a couple of display layouts from the manufacturers. I moved pretty quickly through the show as I wasn't looking to buy much, and still spent over 4 hours and ran out of time. I do want to take a moment and thank each and every volunteer who made these displays possible. Unlike the manufacturers and dealers at the show who have the potential to make money, those who display layouts put in a lot of time and effort, and in the end provide the main attraction for the visitors. If you've ever set up a model railroad at home, you understand how precise everything has to be for it to run smoothly. Now imagine doing that with portable layouts and under the restrictions of limited time to set up. So I offer a sincere thank you to each and every person who made these layouts possible. I've provided the information provided at the show for each group in the description for this video. Please take a minute to check out their sites or drop them an email to say thanks. As you watch this video, you'll know my personal favorites when you see my little friend Foamer jumping up and down and saying wow. I thought these were some of the best modules on display at the show. First up is the L-Gauge Modular Systems Great Lakes Division layout. L-Gauge is for Lego gauge. When I first saw Lego trains years ago, it was a very unique niche in the hobby. But as you can see from this layout, it is evolving to the point where you can do some very nice modeling. And it may be the best way to bridge the gap between old and young modelers.
You see he's controlling it from his phone? Look over here.
What?
Look over here.
Virtually.
You're controlling them.
Huh? Why is it slow?
That's full speed, buddy.
The next layout I went to was the North Georgia Modular Group. This was a very nice modular layout with several well-scenic, highly detailed scenes. I was especially fond of the large grain elevator in the first clip, and the bridge scene over the deep valley with a loop of track below. And how could you not love the big boy pulling a long string of stock cars? This layout was a strong contender for my Best of Show award. Nearby was a small layout also featuring what you can do with Legos. I didn't get a name for this layout, but it had a Disney theme. It really is amazing how versatile Legos are. The Palmetto train's in-scale layout was one of the outstanding railroads at the show. It ran flawlessly and looked great. This was another very strong contender for the Best in Show. As you walked around the layout, all the modules were fully scenic, and the scenes transitioned smoothly from one module to the next. They had the appearance of a single model railroad and not a collection of modules. It also included two of the best, very realistic bridge scenes without being overly dramatic. This layout was very well done.
It is amazing, but not like I say something correcting and you're tearing up on me. Like, dear God, that's where I'm getting from.
I talked to the owner of the Golden Eagle and Freedom Valley model trains for several minutes. You'd have thought in that time I would have thought to get his name, but nope. This is a small group with just 4 family members from Northern Ohio.
And Michigan.
A lot of
And the Three
respect
Rivers
for
guys
the
from
effort to
Indiana,
display at the
and we've
show
joined
and
up done
promote
some
the
shows
hobby.
with them. So now we want to be able to go to an HO show, but take T-Trak with us, and then we could put on a bigger thing, kind of like what they did with the big T-Trak layout down there.
Yeah.
They've been promoting that like crazy. We want to be able to have T-Trak join.
This display actually featured HO and in-scale T-Trak layouts. In talking to the owner, their primary objective is to promote the hobby, and they are doing an excellent job of it. The Detroit Model Railroad Club melted my heart. O-gauge Norfolk and Western articulated steam engines is the sort of thing that can make me tear down my layout, jump a scale to O-gauge, and start over. I could sit and watch those engines come around the bend all day long.
I went to Kinsey a couple weeks ago and bought she had three different sets set up in the house. Christmas, and I bought one.
Indoor train shows are a tough assignment for garden railways. Tabletop layouts are designed for this environment and fit in fine, but garden railroads are really at their best under bright sunshine in a natural setting. The Georgia Garden Railway Society set up a nice display, incorporating garden effects as best they could. It was very popular with children thanks to the large, colorful, and unique trains. This is the sort of layout that makes you realize you haven't actually run out of space just because the basement is full. I moved over to the model railroading planning layout, featuring what you can do in a small space. For modeling alone, this would have hands down won the Best of Show award. The modeling and the detail were high-end for a home layout. For a show, though, the switching action made it a walk-by display for many people, and only modelers who have an eye for operations took the time to actually appreciate this masterpiece. It is no small feat to move a layout this nice in and out of a show without damaging the delicate details. This was an outstanding job.
Is this your layout?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice.
Thank you. It's a little tiresome. I don't know how I'm supposed to get on it.
The 3dptrain.com layout was really just a display to show off their products, but it is an extremely nice display layout. It is nothing dramatic, just the sort of scene you might find in the mountains along a short stretch of tracks. but the folks from 3DP Train did a really nice job.
Great job. Maybe you could come out.
And now we arrive at my best of show layout. The Gulf Western Modular Railroad Society is out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Just getting out of Texas from Corpus Christi is a haul. It probably accounted for about half of their mileage to get to Chattanooga. I picked this layout as my favorite because they had multiple and interesting trains running. All the trains ran smoothly. They were all running at appropriate speeds. The layout itself is modular, so you still have the normal scene transition issues, but those were overcome with some really spectacular modeling. This layout met the criteria of what you hope to see at a train show and provided a lot of entertainment for both casual observers and passionate modelers. In fairness, many of the layouts accomplished this. It just happened to be my favorite. Look closely at the fans on the top of the cooling tower. They're actually spinning. I have a small personal connection to this group, or at least their small town. I served some time in Corpus Christi, just a week or two on a non-military business assignment at the Corpus Christi Army Depot. It wasn't the prison sentence I make it sound like. Actually, I very much enjoyed my time there. I got a great tour of the Army Depot and a stern lecture that Cincinnati chili is not real chili. One last thing. The award for the best use of a mirror goes to... Here's a hint. Look for the headless guy in the white t-shirt. The next layout was the North Alabama Modular Railroaders. This is an HO scale group. The layout had several nice scenes, including a very detailed circus scene.
So, because we've seen that, they're always numbers out, it's something else. So,
Bring the locomotive to you.
you have to ask somebody else. So,
Now we arrive at the feature attraction of the 2026 National Train Show. This first clip is a pan of the entire T-Trak layout. I don't know how many hundreds of T-Trak modules were all connected on this layout. I remember reading the promotional material that it would take 2 hours for a single train to complete a loop around the layout. This layout was quite the accomplishment from the dozens to hundreds of people who had to work together to make it possible. My review of this layout is meant as friendly, constructive criticism. Maybe my expectations were a little too high. I found this layout to be too much like real rail fanning. Miles of track and not many trains running. And the ones that were running were getting a lot of 050 helper service. I won't speculate on all the challenges, and I can pretty well imagine. And I hope the T-Trak groups continue to work at this. They truly have the ability to do something that no other groups can realistically attempt. I do want to recognize there was some really good modeling. I did a poor job of capturing this layout. There was just so much of it. But I was trying to wait for trains to pass through the scenes, and I eventually lost so much time that I ran up against closing time. Kudos to all the T-Trak members who made this possible, and yes, I did see some very nice trains running.
That's the one thing I didn't hear.
Turns it on.
This module brought back memories for me. I can remember the Cincinnati Railroad Club had a Calamity Corner as part of their display for years when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Western Ohio Railway. Please click the like button and subscribe to the channel for future videos.